Welcome everybody to PinstripeChronicles. I am Tats. I am here with Donald and Rob, and that was one hell of a game. It, from being no hit to Toronto going, oh shit, and it was, you're looking at the first half of that game and you're like, all right, it's just not our day. They got to find the offense that they had during the win streak. Are they still feeling the effects of having all the days off and then having the makeup games? And then it just started to click. And the biggest mistake that Toronto made was picking a fight with the Yankees. And because Stanton is a 3-run home run, Donaldson gets plunked, an immediate ejection, which I did not see coming. But at the same time, they could say that they could deny it was intentional, unintentional, all they want. When you look at the catcher's reaction, and the catcher, throws his arms up like this, you knew that's not where this pitch was supposed to go. It was, the catcher had no clue what was going on, and it was just all the body language tells you the story that they wanted to hit Donaldson. That was a punt. That was for Stanton hitting the home run. You don't think so?
No. Why would you hit the next guy when they just tied the game? It was 0-1. You don't hit him on the second pitch. If you fell behind 1-0, maybe. The pitch just got away from him. There's no way that was intentional. If they wanted to pick a fight with the Yankees, then they would have hit Donaldson on the first pitch. Or they wouldn't, have given up a home run. Had Stanton's home run taken the lead, it probably would have been more intentional to hit the next guy, because now they're just mad. But not in a tie game, because they took the lead in the next 2 innings later anyway. So I doubt that was intentional. You don't hit the next batter in a tie game, not when you're already ahead in the count. That would be just stupid. I think his pitch just got away from him. That's why the catcher was like, what are you doing? Had that get away from him. If you're throwing at the next guy when you're already ahead in the count in a tie game, then you're screwed up in the head. I doubt that was. Even Donaldson said he doubts it was intentional.
It does look like a two-seamer that just went. He lost track of his two-seamer and just went way in. From what I saw, I wouldn't necessarily say that. I think it wouldn't make any sense for him to deliberately hit a guy in a tie game anyway. Put another runner on to put himself under more pressure. You know what I mean? That wouldn't necessarily make any sense. But I don't know. I think the Jays kind of made a big deal out of it, and so I don't really have any sympathy for them necessarily. But,
no, I don't have sympathy for them.
But no, I know you don't. I'm just saying I don't necessarily have any sympathy for them. Just with a reaction, they just looked a little bit out of control. But even Paul O'Neill had sympathy for the Blue Jays, and he had sympathy. He said that the umpires were kind of instigating a lot of this stuff. But I enjoyed it. It was a great game. I think this game is like, so those games that are just a turning point in the season. This is a marker game. This one. This is like, how upset I was at the Field of Dreams game. The Yankees losing that game for me kind of told me a story of how this season was going to go, and it's exactly how it went. But this is the exact opposite. This was one of those marker wins where for the first half of the game we're being no hit against a rival, right? Then we've got a huge 3-run home run when our tails are up and we're feeling pretty good about ourselves. We've already had ejections and both sides are already kind of involved in this game. And there's a really good intense rivalry there, but then we blow it and we go 5-3 down. We'll get into the reasons for that. But then, had we lost that game, it would be tough to get over because there was a lot of intensity in this game. And but the fact that Aaron Judge came up and hit his very first career walk-off, it was not just a walk-off, it was an absolute bomb.
Yep.
It went like 500 feet or something. It was crazy how hard he hit that ball. Now we've got a different narrative. Now this is a team that never gives up, never says die, fights right to the very, very last at bat. This is a great sign. I'm getting so many vibes of 2017 here. They're a plucky team. They don't give up. they're 2017 with more talent is what they are. Which is even better for us. There just seems to be that little bit more energy about the way that we're going about things, and these games are exciting, man. They're going right to the end, and we're not giving up. So, this is a special team. I think this is a special team this year.
No, there's that. I mean, we've been saying it. We were saying it throughout the win streak, and there's just something special about this team. Games where they've been behind, they've battled back to win most of those games. That haven't gone undefeated. They've lost games, but you don't get that feeling like you did the last couple of years, where it's like, all right, it's just it's not going to happen. Now you're like, all right, once you see that they're getting one runner on, now you start to feel that momentum building where it could totally shift in our favor. And more times than not this year, they have come through with that big hit where they were unable to do that in the years past. Because that's all we kept saying. The pitching hasn't been the problem in the postseason. It's not being able to get the big hit in the big spot. This year, they're showing, all the opposition that don't count us out. If you make a mistake, we got you.
Another thing, I want to give a shout out to the fans as well, because during that no-hitter, when DJ LeMahieu lined that shot off the wall, even though we're 3-zip down, the fans were right in this game. And they were loud and they were intense. And I honestly think that helped us a lot. They were in this game, man. So, baseball in general like to maybe paint Yankee fans in a negative light. This was yesterday was a good day for Yankee fans, man. They were behind their team. Every seat looked filled to me, and it was loud from the first to the last pitch, and it was a credit, man. It was chaos when Stanton hit that 3-run blast, and it was chaos when Aaron Judge hit that walk-off home run. So it was pretty fun. It was a pretty fun game, considering it was just May, and fans to be that loud and the stadium to be that full. It was really cool.
And even though Rizzo's been in a little bit of a slump here, he's still putting together some solid at bats. He's not just going up there like he's lost. He's still grinding it out. Just not getting lucky. But the one issue that that's coming about is Chad Green has not been as effective as he's been, and especially it's something we're not used to seeing in sports in a contract year. Because he's going to be a free agent at the end of the year, that usually that's when you get their best. But I think his better days are behind him as a reliable, he's as a reliable reliever.
He's not a high leverage pitcher.
No.
That was the first chink in Aaron Boone's armor, was taking out Loaizaga and putting in Chad Green. Even though Loaizaga walked the first batter, which is obviously a sin, a cardinal sin for a reliever. However, I would have trusted Loaizaga's stuff to keep his stuff, in the infield and getting strikeouts and stuff than Chad Green, because Chad Green's a fly ball pitcher, and he doesn't have the kind of stuff that Loaizaga has. So Loaizaga has a penchant for blowing games, man. This has been going on for a while now, but the Yankees seem to have a lot more trust in him than Yankee fans do. And on this occasion, they showed a little bit too much faith in him, because for me, he's not an ninth inning kind of guy. He's just not a high leverage pitcher. I just don't like his stuff in a high leverage spot. I like Loaizaga's stuff in a high leverage spot. I know his year hasn't been great to this point, but his stuff is far superior to Chad Green's. We should have probably gave him a little bit of leash. I think Loaizaga would have been able to induce a ground ball, a double play. But I agree, man. I don't think Chad Green should have been in that spot at all.
Rob, what's your thoughts on the bullpen moves?
Well, going back to last year, Green's been really rough in these spots. So, I mean, if Boone was going to go to him, he should have just given him the clean inning anyway.
Yeah.
That was my only issue with it. Like, you took Loaizaga out first batter after the walk. Obviously, you don't want to walk the first guy, but then you bring in the home run guy because Green gives up a ton of home runs. Even that wasn't the case yesterday, but he does give up fly balls. He gives up big hits. That was a questionable move. He should have just given him the inning to start with, or let Loiza go ride it out. But yeah, I think luckily for us, we have a bunch of really good arms that can take that spot. More of a seventh, eighth inning type of reliever where Green can maybe pitch earlier in a less of a high leverage spot to try to get him going. I don't know, because Green's got good stuff. It's just when he's off, he gets shelled.
Yeah.
That's his issue. That's his real issue. So, I mean, we know he can do it because he has a good fastball. He's got that curve. But when he's letting that thing hang over the plate, or if that fastball is flat, they're killing him. And that's been the case since last year. And so it's not really overuse either this year because Boone's been going to everybody kind of equally.
Yeah.
I mean, Castro phenomenal last night. Castro comes in, strikes out everybody, and Loizaga was able to do his part. But it sucks that it's just continuously Green because I like Chad Green. It just sucks that he continuously struggles in those high leverage spots.
No, I mean the other part of the pitching was the first half of the game, and that was Severino didn't have the best start to a game. The second inning was just very forgettable. But what made it memorable is when he had his Mussina moment, and Boone, was gonna. But Boone said, in the post game interviews, that he wasn't necessarily going to take Severino out, but he just wanted to kind of check on him, make sure everything was okay because he had, was having a rough inning. And Severino was just, don't even talk to me, just stay where you are. And Boone was, read the body language and was like, all right, I'll stay back. And from that, I think that kind of woke up Severino. It's like, all right, let's refocus and get through this game. And was able to give him, go into the fifth inning. So Severino, he really showed that's where he showed that he's healthy and he's ready to battle. And he's just mentally back to being, to feeling good that he could be a confident, dominant pitcher.
Yeah, credit to him because that could have gotten sloppy. It could have been over at that point in the game, but he ended up striking out 8 in total and got us into and almost got us through 5 innings. So, I mean, overall, that's not a terrible start if your guy gives you 5 and keeps you in the ball game, especially when it started. He had like 50 pitches through 2 innings.
Yeah.
So you take that, considering the alternative could have been Toronto 6, us nothing, and getting no hit. Who knows how the game ends? We probably lose 6-2 or something. Who knows? So good thing for Sevy. I think that lit the team up a little bit, got them going. It's like, okay, our guys battling. Let's put some good at-bats together, and eventually got the big hit from Stanton to tie it. So this is the kind of team that we have this year where you never feel out of it. You just don't feel out of it. Last year, and we've been saying it for 2 weeks now, broken record, but it does not happen last year. Once it's 3-0 Toronto, game over. That was the feeling last year in 2020. Now it's like, no, this one's still within reach, and it was.
Severino's still working his way back, man. He's got a 4 ERA now. His stuff is there. His location isn't necessarily, but he did show a lot of guts because he was off at the start, but he did show a lot of guts, and that's a good sign moving forward. And if your very worst starting pitcher has a 4.08 ERA, then you'll take that. You're obviously expecting more from Severino, but he hasn't really necessarily pitched as a starter in a couple of years. So we do have to give him a little bit of leeway to work himself back. There are times where I don't necessarily trust him, because I'll never forget when he went into that playoff game and he forgot what time the opening pitch was. I remember he didn't even warm up until a couple of minutes before the pitch because he didn't know what time the game started, which is just a terrible sign. So that's why I've always kind of held a little bit of like, I'm not sure if he's someone that you trust long term. But this year, yeah, he didn't start off well. His location was poor, but he fought his way back and he kept us in the game, and that's all I can really ask for at this stage. And his stuff is there. He's got good stuff, and
Yeah.
I'm sure that it will eventually come around. So I'll tip my cap to him there, man. He worked his way through because not every starter is going to be terrific right out the gate. It kind of shows who you are if you're able to go right. Okay, my stuff isn't great, but I'm gonna find a way to get through these innings, and that's a pretty good sign there. I mean, it was kind of similar to Chapman, for instance, the night before in the ninth inning, where he couldn't locate his fastball, but he could locate his slider, and he just made use of his slider, and his
Yeah.
slider managed to get the 3 outs that was required. So credit to Severino for that. It was just such a crazy game, man. It just felt like there was a couple of games in one right there. It was a no hitter at one point, and then suddenly there was like this crazy ejection scenario going on. Happened twice when the umpire went after the Blue Jays manager, and the Blue Jays manager kept talking. I'm like, God, just go away. So I'm glad he finally did get ejected, and that was crazy. But then the ninth inning was just absolute mayhem. What a wild game, man! Wild.
No, but we've seen that a couple times already, where it's 2 games in one. With the slow start, and then it's like after the 6th inning, just the bat's like, okay, we're awake now. So they're not morning people with the bat. So,
No, I think you're right. The first thing that you said, man. I think they pissed off the Yankees. I think by I think by their antics in the 6th inning, I think that woke the Yankees up, and they're like, right now I'm pissed. Let's go.
yeah, I mean the 3-run shot was in the 6th.
Yeah.
Yep.
That 6th inning woke them up, man. It definitely did.
Well, that ninth inning, Trevino draws the walk,
Yep.
and then LeMahieu draws the walk, and then you look at that at bat to Judge, and he's hanging every pitch, and Judge just keeps fouling it off. I'm like, he's gonna go deep here, or he's gonna get something down the line. And I'm like, because he's seeing the ball, because he keeps fouling it. And usually that Judge at bat in that spot, it either ends with him getting like a single or he strikes out, because we've seen it before, because like he gets fooled by that one pitch. But then he throws him an 84 hanging slider, and I was like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, as soon as you saw that pitch coming into the zone, you're like, that's gone.
So, yeah, I mean, I was like, he really threw that hanger. Like, every pitch was just hanging. He was off. Like, he struck out Falefa, right, on like 3 pitches. And then I was like, oh, great, here we go. Trevino's up. He's probably going to get out. And you got to pray the top of the order comes through. But Trevino walks. LeMahieu was like, all right, well, you're not hitting the zone, so I'm just going to sit here and take these pitches. And he walks, and then Judge is like, I'm going to take you deep. And the game's over. And just had to get to the top of the order, and we still had a shot. And, boy, that's exactly what we did. And that was the defending reliever of the month. So it was nice.
The key to getting to Romano is to have him pitch from the stretch, because his stuff is completely different. Yeah. His stuff is completely different when pitching from the stretch. When he's got clear bases, he can do that funky wind up and take 4 hours to deliver the ball. And there's a hint of difficulty in hitting and timing his pitches. But when he's pitching from the stretch, he's completely different. His pitches are a lot flatter, and he tends to hang pitches. Remember that was exactly what we saw the last time. The last time that we played the Blue Jays and he was pitching, I was thinking, damn, he is throwing meatballs out there. Because as soon as we got a runner on base, his pitching delivery was completely different. I was like, dude, is very hittable. And so so as soon as Trevino got on base, I was like, oh my God, we are back in this game, because he's going to be throwing he's going to be a completely different pitcher. And the Aaron Judge at bat, we're lucky because Judge missed 2 meatballs that were hanging. And the second pitch was a slider that was up in the zone, and he mistimed that. Then he threw a fastball, which was right over the middle of the plate, and he just missed that one too. I was like, oh, is he going to get a third chance? Because normally you don't get 3 beautiful pitches to hit.
Lucky if you get 1 meatball.
Exactly. Yeah. But he got 3, and the third one he absolutely obliterated to the moon. I mean, that
Like,
moon has
the
now got another
advantage for the
souvenir.
the advantage for the hitters yesterday with Romano was, he was having problems with the slider pitching from the stretch. And it seems like he always has. It seems in the couple of times that we've seen him this year, when he is working out of the stretch, when there's traffic on base, that he'll have that one pitch that's just not working. The delivery is off pitching from that angle. So when Judge is getting he got a lot of sliders, and Romano just couldn't get that slider outside the zone enough to get him to miss the ball, and he kept fouling a lot of pitches off. And then, like Rob pointed out, Rob said that, he had the one that hung in the top of the zone that was just destroyed. And, it was really, it was one of those at-bats where you were just saying, just read Judge was able to see the angle of the pitch very well. I'm like, stay patient. That's all I kept saying. I'm like, don't chase, just stay patient, just fight them off. And I'm like, please. And then we all know how the storybook ending for Judge with his first walk-off. But it was
he pitched scared of Judge because he didn't trust his fastball against Aaron Judge. So that's why he kept throwing sliders. And it was just a matter of time. As long as Aaron Judge can just get the timing right on that hanging slider, then it's going to the moon. And that's exactly what happened.
No, he threw a couple of the fastballs, and one of them was like really low in the zone.
Threw one fastball.
It was
one fastball, right? Just it was right over the middle of the plate.
Just to give him a little something, I guess it was to give him a different look, and then to try to get a slider outside the zone to swing and miss. And Judge wasn't having it. So I mean, Judge, that at bat is that should be taught. That should be shown to a lot of different players in the league. This is how you have an patient at bat.
Rob, what did you think? What did you think of the at bat, Rob?
I mean, he's our best player, so I mean, I expected him to do something big. Never doubted him. First of 10 home runs, his first walk-off home run, not his first walk-off hit, first walk-off home run. Let's get that right. He's done it before. And also, since last year, he is, I think, tied with Glaber for the most hits in the 8th inning or later that has given us the lead or tied the game. So enough with this Judge isn't clutch narrative that I've been hearing over the last couple of years. He's gotten the job done time and time again. And he did it again yesterday. Pay the man. Give him the captain status already. I'm sick of waiting for it. And the fact that there's anybody out there that doubted this guy 1 week into the season because he was struggling, even though he was still hitting the ball well, just wasn't hitting a ton of home runs, shut up, because he's proven you wrong yet again. This is a top 5 player in baseball, and we have him, and we better have him for the rest of his goddamn career.
you tell it, Rob. Pay the man.
That's it.
He was judge, jury, and executioner last night. That is for sure. Another person I have issues with, Aaron Hicks. He played a horrific left field yesterday. The way that I blame him solely for the runs that scored. How did he allow Vladimir Guerrero Jr. to run from first base and score? And Aaron Hicks he lazily just walked over to the ball, and then he couple of fake pumps like he's a quarterback. There we go. Like Guerrero's just ran the base. Anybody else want to score? Anybody from the stands that want to run the bases? I'm just here. I'm just gonna throw the ball eventually. What was that? When it's such an important part of the game, like had Aaron Judge not hit that walk-off home run, I would be sharpening my knife right now.
We'd be in a very different mood.
Oh, yeah, exactly. The figurative knife, the knives would be sharpened for Aaron Hicks because of the way that he approached that. That was disgraceful. I mean, I know that he's not a left fielder, and it really was obvious there. I mean, had Stanton played left field there, he would have just run over there and absolutely fired the ball over there. I have no doubt about that. If Joey Gallo was playing left field, this would not have been an issue. Even if Brett Gardner was playing left field now, this wouldn't have been an issue because you just need someone that's going to
Hustle.
Track the hustle. Exactly. And Aaron Hicks was like, oh, geez. Oh, this is a long game. I'm tired. Can we go home? I mean, what a disgrace. What a disgrace. And also he was partly culpable for the missed catch there. He should have caught that ball. You know, that ball that ended up going out of the park. Oh no, sorry, it hit the top of the wall and went around a couple of runs. But uh, you know, some sites are saying, oh, he's kept it from being a home run. Yeah, but he actually missed the catch. Like he mistimed the catch, then it bounced off his glove and then hit the top of the wall. I think a better left fielder makes that catch every day. I think Joey Gallo makes that catch. I think even Stanton makes that catch. I just think that was all in Aaron Hicks again. I don't know, am I being overly harsh or what?
No, I don't. You can't be too harsh when it comes to Aaron Hicks. You know,
Amen. Amen.
So, but while you are cranky still, we have the lineup for today's game, and I'm not. I don't even want to criticize it because he's been very good. You know, these lineups, they're as head scratching as they are. They usually do pan out. But we got a lot of different, a lot of changes in today's lineup from yesterday.
Oh no!
So we got Aaron Hicks leading off, playing seven. Judge is the DH today. Rizzo at first, third, batting third. Cleanup is LeMahieu playing third base.
What? Where's Stanton?
Stanton's off today.
Oh,
he gave Stanton the off. Oh yeah. So, batting fifth is Torres playing second base. Gallo batting sixth at left field. Falefa is playing shortstop, batting seventh. Batting eighth is Marvin Gonzalez playing right field. And Trevino's behind the plate today, batting ninth.
I don't know why not Gallo. I don't know why Stanton is getting the day off. I mean, I get it. You want Judge in there, so you DH him, but I don't know. Taking Stanton out of the lineup after he hit that big home run, giving Aaron. I mean, all Aaron Hicks is doing is drawing walks lately, which is better than the alternative, which is striking out every at bat. But I mean, I don't know.
Aaron Hicks has played more than LeMahieu and Stanton this year.
Seems that way. I mean, I'm okay with Donaldson.
Embarrassing.
Okay with Donaldson.
But to have Donaldson and Stanton out of the lineup, I'm not crazy about it. You know,
you're not off tomorrow?
No, they play a lot of games because
I think we have 23 games in 22 days.
Right.
Yeah, and next week play Chicago. So I think it's probably, and they figure they can get something with this lineup. I mean, it's not a terrible lineup. I mean, if Gonzalez can draw some walks, but something at the bottom of the order. You're hoping Gallo can run into one. And you still have some bats in there. It's just taking Stanton out after.
This lineup could work because you have players in the lineup that do, that can work walks and get on base and be a pain in the ass for the pitcher. So maybe throw them off and have them make a mistake to one of the bigger bats. So, and it's not that, they can't, we can't have, Stanton or Donaldson come off the bench later in the game. And so that's why it's hard to be overcritical. It's not the lineup I expected to see. I'll put it that way.
Kind of a momentum killer. And after all the momentum that we just garnered from that huge win over Toronto, you kind of don't want to just throw this game away. This is Toronto, man. This is if you want to rest somebody, you rest somebody against the White Sox. I know White Sox are just as good, but this is your division matchup. You need to win as many games as you possibly can against your division matchup, your rival.
It is. The division record sometimes can determine where you are in the the rankings for the postseason. So
I mean, I know it's kind of like a day game after a night game, and they're probably thinking, well, we're going to rest some guys, but just use Stanton as a DH in that case. I don't have a problem with Donaldson sitting. It's a long time coming, man. I mean, that was the most light 10-game hitting streak I've ever seen. He's really been struggling offensively for the Yankees. He's been great defensively, though. I will give him that. He's been very sound defensively, but offensively, there's really not a lot coming from him.
It's almost like he's with was still waiting for that one game that it just clicks for him and he goes on a hot streak. We just haven't seen it.
He doesn't have the power. That's his issue right now. He's not hitting it for power. Because, like, if he hit 230 this year with, like, 25 or 30 home runs, you're like, all right, it's not worth $25 million. But with the good defense, you're like, okay, you'll take it. But he's hitting low average and for, like, no power. So you're like, what are you getting besides the defense? That ain't 25 million. That ain't 10 million. So you had that with Gio. So right now, you're not seeing the upgrade. But a full last year, Josh Donaldson overall is an upgrade over what we had with Gio. But right now, you're not seeing it. So I have no problem with him sitting. But why is today so early? It's like a 12:30 game. Am I missing something?
Wild.
Is there a holiday?
No, it's not like it's on an app. It's between Apple, Peacock, whatever other stupid apps you need.
600 apps.
Yeah, it's on. Yes.
I mean, to pick up on Rob's point, yeah, Donaldson seems to be rolling over on these pitches right now, and he isn't really hitting with any authority.
No.
But he did get the 10-game hitting streak, so I'm not gonna. I mean, that's a pretty good sign for someone who's struggling that much, that still had that kind of hitting streak for a while. So he's a very smart hitter, and I think eventually he's gonna get it together. He's actually the least of my problems right now. I'm not concerned about him. I am concerned about Joey Gallo. He's missing pitches, man. Even in his pinch hit at bat. He missed two absolute hangers, man, that if he timed it right was going into the moon. So he's still not completely there yet. But my biggest issue is Aaron Hicks. I mean, you guys, what did you guys think of the way he approached that way he went over to that ball?
That can't happen. Not on the major league level. I don't care if you're up by 10 runs. If you're down, the score does not matter. When you're a professional athlete, you hustle from the first pitch to the last pitch. You put in your best effort. You can't take an off day because there are other people on the bench that would love to be in that game. So you better show that when you're in the lineup, you're going to give it your all. Because we'll be a lot more forgiving for somebody that's trying than somebody that's just there wasting space. And that feels like that's what Hicks is doing. He's just wasting space. We might as well go on your back if this is what we were going to get.
Yeah, he is a waste of space. Rob?
I just wish they'd have would have had Florial stayed up with Locastro hurt. Because look, Aaron Hicks is good for like one thing at this point, and that's drawing the walk.
Yep.
Really not doing anything else. He's not hitting with guys on base. He's getting a couple of singles. He's not playing great defensively. But he's not a left fielder either. So like I'm going to give him a tiny pass for that because he should not be out in left field. If you have Hicks playing, put him in center. Don't put him in left where he's uncomfortable. I know you want to put Judge out there from time to time, but like if you have Hicks in the lineup, do not put him in left field just to get Judge in center. Put Judge in right where he belongs. Unless Hicks is not playing, then he could put Judge in center. But why are we trying this like little shifty, let's be weird outfield? Like there's no need for it. Hicks is much more comfortable in center, so leave him out there when he's playing. Florial in left, I'd be okay with it. Gallo probably should have started yesterday, if we're being honest. But didn't he take Kikuchi deep last time he faced him?
I think that was his first home run of the year was off of him.
Well, no, the last time we played Toronto was like last week, and he was beating us, and we lost like 2-1, and Gallo had the only run of the game. He just came back from the injury, right?
Was it right after that? Maybe.
But I get your point anyway. Yeah. It doesn't. Yeah. Listen, it doesn't make sense if Aaron Judge is playing center field. Why is Aaron Hicks even in the lineup? I mean, the only time that Aaron Hicks should ever be in the lineup is him playing center field. That's it. If you're going to play Aaron Judge in center field, then you need to work it so that they need to like put Marwin Gonzalez in left field. I don't know, but I wouldn't have Aaron Hicks in left field. It's just because Aaron Hicks takes the same approach to the ball as a left fielder as he does in center fielder. And as a center fielder, he kind of does take a more relaxed approach to the range, but at least he gets to the ball eventually because he knows that he's got two big throwing guys in left and right field, so that he just seems to be a little bit more comfortable in center field. But in left field, he takes the same relaxed approach to these balls, and he just seems off. He does not look like a left fielder to me. I mean, it's really weird. I'd have Marlon Gonzalez in left field over him. He just doesn't seem comfortable over there. He just seems kind of relaxed, and the amount of times that I've seen him, the camera look pan to him, and he's kind of going like, "Oh, I'm sorry, Aaron. I kind of fucked that one up again. Yeah, sorry, bro." Like that was the same reaction he had when the ball palmed off his glove and hit off the wall. He was kind of like Aaron, like, "Yeah, sorry, bro. Just kind of my bad again. Done it again." It's like I'm getting so sick of him, man. You know what he is? He's like Kevin Youkilis / Nick Johnson. He's like a black Nick Johnson, is what he is, man. He's hurt all the time and only does is walk. That is all he does. But Brian Cashman loves him for it. Like, how much did Brian Cashman love Kevin Youkilis? Because all he did is walk his entire career, and that's what Aaron Hicks is. He's just basically the two of them combined, like with less power. Is that a good comparison?
Cashman bringing back Nick Johnson for a second time over Matsui should have been a fireable offense, if we were being honest.
Yeah.
Youkilis was playing well before he got hurt that year. I will give him a little credit. Youkilis was hitting, and then him and Teixeira got hurt the same time that year, and the whole
that was terrible.
Well, he's a Greek god of walks. That was his nickname. Kevin Youkilis could draw walks, and that's what Aaron Hicks is good at.
That's all he's good at, though.
That's all he's good at. Which is exactly what Kevin Youkilis was all he's good at. So there we go, man. Brian Cashman loves his money ball guys, man. It's somebody that can just go walk all the time. This is like Cashman loves these kind of guys.
If he wasn't a switch hitter, he would probably be out of the lineup more. It's the fact they just get that extra lefty, even though he doesn't hit righties very well. So
it's bizarre.
Whatever. You're facing a lefty yesterday, but what did he do besides draw a walk? I mean, again, that's really all he does for you. He's going to get the single and he's going to draw a walk. I'd rather him draw a walk with a guy on base than the alternative, which is a pop-up.
That's true. It's his OB isn't his OBP like higher than everybody else? He's got like I'm pretty sure, I was looking at the stats earlier. It's really weird because his slugging is the worst in the entire roster.
Yeah.
But
that's
his on base percentage is right up at the top.
I think the bat point is kind of higher on base,
it's a higher slugging, yeah. Like I was looking at the stats earlier because it's really interesting because he's such a weird guy. Like I just can't get my head around him because normally if you look at someone's OBP, right? You're thinking, oh, you know what? He's doing his job. His OBP. There we go. Aaron Hicks leads 400. DJ LeMahieu second, 361. Judge 356. Rizzo 350. Right. So you're thinking, oh wow, OBP, great. Slugging, dead last, 286 behind Keener Falefa. I mean that's just crazy. And Judge, Rizzo, and Stanton are up at the top. 4, 5, and 600. So it's that's who he is, man. He's just an OBP guy. So maybe you do need to put him at the very top or the very bottom of the order because he's not providing any slugging.
You can't put him in the middle.
No, definitely not.
That would be a throwaway game.
He's such a headache.
That's a momentum killer.
I'd just trade him for like a single A pitcher and then go and get a left fielder, man. I don't care.
He only has one more RBI than Higgy, and Higgy hasn't hit the broadside of a barn this year. So,
did you say he's got one more RBI than Higashioka?
He's got 1 home run, 5 RBIs. He's literally just drawing walks. That's all he is doing right now. So, like,
you can't have that on your team. That's terrible.
He's got to be in the bottom of the order, or you lead him off and hope he draws a walk to start the game. But even in the leadoff spot, we've already seen, I kept saying it, like, I'd rather him bat leadoff right on cue. He's had, like, 3 on-base opportunities, and he failed that. So I'm like, where the heck do you put him? Because he's just going to keep finding him. It's just
Exactly.
whenever the guy's on base, I guess who's coming up.
No,
Nah.
the only spot to just keep him in the dugout and let him schedule everybody's tee times for
I completely agree with you there. But if you had to find a place for him in the lineup, I'd actually have him number 9, just for the sheer fact that there's less chance of him getting as many at bats, which is good, and there's a lot less chance of him coming in with runners in scoring position because at the top of the order, there's a very good chance that he's going to come in with runners in scoring position at some point later in the game. So I don't want that. So just put him in the 9 hole. Just keep him down there.
I don't even know. You can't even justify that. It's trying to being that he's had the on base, and he's been showing patient at bats. You want to build this confidence, but you also need to make sure that you're putting the best lineup out there to win ball games. That's where it all comes down to, winning or losing. And they have to. They can't keep running this guy out there if he's not contributing. And it really sucks after a game like last night where we were all fired up, ready to go. And then every time somebody on the show decides to bring up picks, you just bring the whole
Well,
you talk about a momentum killer.
You can find a spot because when he gets on base, he does offer you speed. He can take a bag. He can play a good enough center field, but don't put him in left. Stop putting him in the middle of the order. If you have to put him at the top of the order like today, okay, but maybe he should be batting 8th or 9th. I know Falefa's been good in the bottom of the order, so maybe you bat Falefa 8th, Hicks 9, and you hope if Falefa can single, maybe Hicks takes a better approach. Okay, let me just try to get on base, turn it over to LeMahieu and Judge. That's probably the better approach, but you can't put him 6th or 5th, like was it wherever he was yesterday. He was batting 6th, right? Something like that.
Yesterday.
You can't have that.
But you know what, Taz, you do have a point, even though that was a subtle dig at me for no reason. He's been doing this a lot lately, Tats. But I will say that he does have a point. Let's leave it on a positive. Captain, Aaron Judge, captain, my captain. I mean, let's finish it off on a high. Let's talk about Aaron Judge for a bit.
He's just his focus at the plate, his approach, his patience with the umpires. Because that's something that's been kind of lost in discussion. The fact that the guy can never get, if it's, hits off his toe to strike, and it was, which goes back to why last night's at bat was so epic for him. He wasn't, he was just fighting those pitches off. And it's almost like you're like, what is he swinging at? Well, they're going to call it a strike on him anyway, so he might as well try to do something with it. And he was lucky enough to fight him off. So just his poise and the way that he handles, the home plate umpire when he keeps getting screwed pretty much every at-bat a game, it just shows, that's the mentality of a player you want for New York. That's the guy that can handle all the crap, and that's why you pay him.
He's also shown a little more attitude this year. Like usually when he hits a home run, he just puts his head down and runs. He got a slight little look back to Romano last night. He hit it, he watched and he looked back at Romano like, you really threw me that, and then he rounded the bases. Like he's got a little more like edge to it. I'm like, yeah, there we go.
It was also like, you know who I am, right?
he was ready to fight too last night when they hit Donaldson. Like,
he was
like,
up on the
he was him and LeMahieu and Higgy, which was so funny to see Judge, then LeMahieu, just like it looked like me standing next to Aaron Judge. Like he was just like little Higgy and the catchers. He's like, "What are you doing?" And then Judge is just ready to fight. It was funny, but hey, they're standing up for each other. That's what I like. They were ready to go, even though it wasn't intentional. They were like, "What are you doing? You want to fight this team? Like you want to fight Stanton? You want to fight Donaldson? You want to fight Judge? This team's got some brawlers on it." I mean, Aaron Hicks would probably fight at this point. To give him
and
credit,
Aaron Boone as well.
Aaron Boone would probably be the first one out there throwing hands.
He was ready to body slam the umpire. Was it the 6th inning when Aaron Judge hit that shot, that single off Chapman when Chapman mishandled it? But I think it was the pitch before that. There was a strike called basically above his toes, and Aaron, the camera can't pan to Aaron Boone. And he just went like that. He was just like, "What the fuck? A game?" I was like,
That's what I'm saying. At least once in at bat, there will be a ball below, below the zone for him. That's a strike for
not necessarily, but those pitches are
I will give you
above his shoes, man. That's where these pitches are being called as strikes, and you're like, what the frick is going on here? This is a joke. Like Michael Kay said, I believe I was listening to a show. He said that they have called 386 balls that are called strikes on him that are way below normal in the strike zone. That 386, and it's madness. Like more than anybody else in the majors. Like Aaron Judge is getting hosed. See, these are pitches that are above his freaking shoes, and they're calling them as strikes.
Well, last night I wasn't making too much of a big deal out of last night. I mean, there was that one pitch that we're referring to, but the umpire was very consistent with the low strike zone yesterday. And so he was calling that a strike on both sides. So I don't want to, really kill the strike zone too much, but there's always one in that bat where you're going, how did they call that a strike? I mean, yeah,
it does happen all the time.
It's brutal. We obviously didn't have a show yesterday, but just want to give a quick shout to the ace Nestor Cortez. That mustache is special because this guy, it's not a fluke anymore. Dude is special.
No, he's legit.
I love watching.
That's a great point, man. I forgot. He almost had a no-hitter. No. Holy shit. How did we almost forget that?
Was it you that
Donald did? Donald did jinx.
Are you blaming me again, Tats?
I am.
I'm
You're blaming me? What am I supposed
I'm
to
blaming
do?
you. Because
come on.
We have a group chat, you see, and in this group chat, ladies and gentlemen, Donald comes out and says he's got a no-hitter. The very next batter wakes up the no-hitter.
What am I supposed to do?
You don't say anything. Mushed. You mushed it.
So wait, the reason why the group chat was dead silent was because everybody knew this was a no-hitter, and so nobody was saying anything. Is that why?
Yeah, you don't talk about it. You don't even think about it. Sports fans are the most superstitious people in the world. It's that's a fact. But I mean, it's
Tats lecturing me about sports. All right.
Well, he's been around to see them all from the start to finish, so he knows all.
He only watches one.
He was around during the inception of baseball, so he knows all about the superstitions.
Oh, okay. I'll
buy
that.
I took a dig at you and Tats.
I'll buy that. Although, I mean, none of them.
And I played Little League with Doc Adams,
Although none of you were in the stands to watch a perfect game, I was. So I think this argument that I'm a jinx is a poor one, considering my very first game was the perfect game. Oh, you'll give me that. Thanks very much. There you go. So I am not.
So that means you need to come back to the States so we can put you in the stadium every game.
I'm coming to the States in a couple of weeks. What are you talking about? Give me a break here. Give me a break here, honestly.
Well, doing our show live from the stadium, that's going to be awesome.
That is going to be awesome. I'll be wringing your neck. You've been at me for weeks now, Tats. God damn it.
Turning him into a very violent person. He was talking about sharpening knives earlier. Now he's going to wring your neck.
I don't know if I want to go now.
It's just Aaron Hicks, man. Don't worry.
Yeah, but it's all fun. Believe me.
The show has gone off the rails. You have to take us off the air.
All right.
I'm annoyed now. No, let's talk about Nasty Nestor. I mean, he was incredible, man. What a story. It's like a Hollywood movie. How many times was he cut by the Yankees? Twice, and he was cut by the Orioles, and then he cut by the Mariners.
Thank you, Baltimore. That's it.
Well, thank you,
Yeah.
Seattle. Thank you, Seattle.
Yeah.
Because they
Got by
let
the
him go.
Mariners too.
Well, last year, the thing that I said last year, if you looked at his metrics, he was not supposed to be pitching the way he was because, like, he was giving up hard contact. His pitch, there was no velocity. It's like, what is going on here? Is this just a fluke? And then this year, now the metrics are matching up his numbers. Like, he's not getting hit hard. The velocity's up a little bit. And you're like, yeah, this is
Yeah,
even his
soft
bad,
contact. Yeah.
his bad starts were like not terrible. So you're like, this is a number 5 starter, and he's doing this every 5th day. He's pitching what you expect to see from Garrett Cole. He's got like an ERA in the ones, and he
Yeah, it's
leads the team in
1.41
strikeouts.
is his ERA right now.
I think he's the first pitcher in team history to have like these kind of numbers after 6 starts or something. That in the team's history, not Whitey Ford, not Pettit, not Clemens, none of these dudes that we watched pitch or guys before us or Bobby Tats watched pitch. Nestor Cortez is breaking records for us. This is fun. It's the damn mustache. I keep saying it. It has to be the stash. No other explanation for it.
Well, I mean, yeah, but also Corey Kluber worked with him about his cutter. That's what's really changed his pitching. I mean, he worked with Corey Kluber, he worked on the cutter, and now his cutter is like the best in baseball. So we can thank Corey Kluber for not just a no hitter last year, but turning Nasty Nestor from a reliever into the best pitcher in all of baseball. He's got the best ERA in baseball since like the All-Star break last year, something like that.
Something
Right?
like that.
That Corey Kluber signing continues to pay off because he also taught King that Kluber ball, whatever that thing is,
Yeah.
that weird moving pitch that he throws. So the Corey Kluber signing might be Cashman's best ever. It's paying off.
Yeah. The Yankees should still be paying Corey Kluber for all the help that he's been doing for our pitchers, man. He's turned 2 of our pitchers into elite best pitchers in baseball. So I do have a big thank you for Corey Kluber. He didn't need to be this kind. He's helping people like last year, man. So we've now but no, another thing about Nasty Nestor is he really worked out in the offseason. Lost a bit of weight and he's gained velocity on his fastball. And that's what's changed things, man. Like his the way his delivery it is deceptive enough that it adds miles per hour on his fastball, and no one can cut out, no one can work out his cutter and various other pitches. So it's just he's such a great guy too, man. Like if you read his Twitter account, he's just all about wins and he just wants to be Yankee for the rest of his career. He is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful player, and great representation of the Yankees. And he legitimately could be our ace, which is just crazy. He could literally be our ace right now, and I'm really glad we got him a dub.
But when he
Really
was
glad.
like, how'd you feel? He goes, no, I felt like I could, he felt like he could have kept going. And he's like, an hour later, I felt like I got hit by a truck. I mean, he's just, lights out on the field and on the, on camera after the game, doing interviews on social media. He's just a really fun presence. And that's something that, is, we always felt was very important to a locker room, was having that, having a little personality, a little flair. And you're getting that this year. And this is the result of it. Keep it up. Because it's just been phenomenal, and it's very exciting.
Yeah, I also like that Aaron Boone gave him a chance to get that no hitter. Yeah. A lot of pitchers, a lot of managers after the 7th inning at a tie game, despite the no hitter, would probably have taken him out. But he gave him that rope, and I like that, man. He kind of gave him a chance, and I don't have a problem with how it turned out. Just to be honest, he pitched well. Even in the 8th inning, he pitched well. It was just unlucky that the ball got past the infield, but he was just terrific. And a big shout out to Aaron Judge as well for his base running, and Rizzo as well for his approach going the other way in the gap. And Judge just went like he read that fly ball perfectly in order to round those bases. So Judge is really just acing it this year, and Rizzo as well. So we got the W, and that's all that mattered. We wish we got a run an inning earlier for Nasty Nestor, considering he went 7 1/3 no hit innings, and he doesn't get the W, but still just so good. What a story,
but
man.
you know the way that they're all playing, for each other, and they just want the win. They don't care who gets it, who was on the mound, who was at the plate. It doesn't matter to them. Let's just win games. That's their approach, and that's why they've been playing, the way they have. And so that's why it's like we were talking about earlier with the lineup today. It's a little strange lineup, but it's not one of those where you'd be like, well, all right, that's a loss. Well, last year this kind of lineup, we would have been like, all right, they're just giving up. They're just ready. They're getting ready for the next series. But we've been surprised with these lineups so far, and I wouldn't be surprised if they still were able to come out with a win today. Especially with the players that they have on the bench. So it's going to, I think today's going to be a really feisty game between both teams. It's inevitable that they're going to have a big brawl. Yeah, it's coming.
Well, you think so?
It's coming. It's coming this year. At some point this year, it's just going to explode, and it's
I don't know if it's going to be the Yankees that are fighting the Blue Jays, because Bobby Tats is giving me some mafia vibes. It's coming. It may not be someone's going to fight. I don't know who.
Don't worry about it.
Well, don't worry about it. We'll see.
The less you know, the better.
It's going to wrap things up for us. Just remember, like, share, comment, and subscribe. Check out our social media in the description. Hear us on sportnarian.com/player, on Northeast Streaming Sports on Roku. Wear your pinstripes with pride. Play hard.
99, baby.